Why is it that I think that Airrack's worst performing video is actually the best video that he's ever created? Look right here, right? Proof that it's just the lowest performing video. 4.5 million views, okay, that's the baseline we're gonna hit. We keep going, 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 and nearly 2 years later, we finally find a video with less views than it. Let's get right into it then.
Dear Airrack, 10 million. 10 million subscribers isn't just a lot of people, it's more than the entire population of New York City.
Some important context was that Airrack's mission was to achieve 1 million subscribers, and then like 18 months later, something like that, he managed to hit the 10 million mark. So this is the celebration of that.
The fact is, you're no longer just a great channel, you're a movement. You've clearly touched the nerve in the world, and you find a legion of fans who expect and receive great things from you.
So automatically from the get-go, you can tell that this is a completely different type of video. Especially in the Mr. Beastification age, you always have Airrack or many other characters. They start with a loud, shouty intro to get you hooked in. So the fact that it starts slow, it starts sentimental, it starts sincere, kind of catches you off guard, and you're like, hold on a second, what is going on here? We're not used to seeing Airrack in this sort of sentimental state. What's gonna come up? Like you're interested now, intrigued to see what exactly is going on here.
As a token of our appreciation,
oh, and this shot is just beautiful. The fact that the crowd sounds cut off, you got the confetti going across in slow motion, the slow punch in, you see the ticket going up. It's just like the building up of hype towards this monumentous event. It really symbolizes how important it is for him in his life to achieve that number. You know, for a lot of people, it's just, you know, as it is, just you hit the number and you move on. But for him, a dream that he's wanted to achieve for his whole life. It's getting there, it's going in, it's going in. Are we gonna see it? Are we gonna see it hit over? We're gonna see it tick over. He's happy, and it's very close. Tick, one more, or there is one more. And it starts rewinding back. Now you're excited to see what led up to this moment. It sets up the whole video as we're going to discuss the journey that led to this point. We're not just going to say, oh nice, we did it, now onto the next thing. We're going to provide a whole background that maybe you didn't even realize yet. It makes you realize how much not luck this journey was, and how much effort over years and years and years he had to put in to achieve this goal. And it's not just he tried once and got to 1 million, but there's a lot behind that we never even saw as an audience.
How would you describe Eric's channel in 0 words?
Can it be one word?
Who is that one person that was with him from ground zero? Mother, another character that once again we've never seen, but immediately indicates, okay, we're going deep, because who knows more about Airrack than his own parents?
The hardest thing about raising you, Eric Decker, is that you were very stoic growing up.
As I just mentioned in a video that I just made, opening up with a confessional style intro is very valuable in gathering the person's attention, because it's like you're hearing a little secret. It's like you're hearing a little bit of gossip. You want to lean in, you're like, what is she gonna say about him? Like, what are these little secrets and bits of knowledge that generally is hidden up and you don't get that glimpse into? So it's another element there that really brings you in even further on top of everything else that we have already seen.
You had a lot going on in there.
See, already within 1:26, we've had a couple different significant tone changes, and now it's gone into the action pace. We've had the slow start, we've had that sentimental, but let's get into the action. We know he's a high-paced guy, so building a theme to reflect the energy that we're used to seeing. And this storytelling here, without even saying anything, just showing the videos he's producing, automatically you can tell that he started from when he was a young age, wasn't receiving much viewership, got no traction, and worked for years and years and years without really anything working out. So now you're anticipating, when will it work out? When do things start working? When does this massive trajectory that we have followed along with for the past couple of years actually come to fruition?
Won't you bring a little more? Bring a little more.
5:30, on my way to Waffle House with Josiah.
Come in here and love with me.
Because a lot of time when you see these sorts of travel or time montages, they can be quite boring, like especially when you have the traditional vlogs where they'll show you every part of the travel, going to the airport, getting on the plane, whatever. Like it just becomes mundane because we've seen it before, and nowadays it tends to be faster cuts of like, okay, we've got the point, you've traveled. Where with here, they're able to still keep it interesting, still keep you engaged because they're able to tell such an interesting story without any dialogue, just by showing the clips from his past, which is very, very tough to do well to keep it engaging while doing this. So it's very impressive what he's been able to produce here, especially considering most of his videos do include that typical narration, shouty overtone, like this is what's happening next.
Me and Eric met a few years before the whole YouTube thing started.
Hey, my name is Eric Decker. I'm here at the...
I remember at the time, he had the wedding business.
Wedding.
Every story, as you would know, has a good companion. So now by introducing the companion, not only have you got the mum talking about him from absolute childhood, but also who are the people he's brought on the journey with him. You know, it's important, people to root for, people to say, this is who we're backing. You know, you got Sam and Frodo, you got Peter Parker and MJ, you've got Joe and Ellie. There is always some sort of gang that you want to see succeed.
During this time, Eric was battling some pretty serious depression.
Yeah. I do not want to do anything.
He was broke.
I am completely broke right now.
He had just gotten out of a relationship.
I broke up with my girlfriend. I need to be around somebody who loves me.
And it seemed like this lifelong dream of becoming a YouTuber, you know, might not work out.
I really am just thinking into 2019 on what I want to do, and I want to do something like influential.
See, these are the scenes that we don't see from him, the struggling, the vulnerable moments, the trials and tribulations that we only see the final product. We haven't got that glimpse into the behind the scenes, and having Mac, his editor and best friend, talk about it adds a whole nother element there of validity. Because if Airrack was talking about his own struggles, it kind of feels like maybe he's sucking up to the camera, maybe he's embellishing it a little bit, just trying to have a sob story and gain some sympathy. But because it's his best friend saying that, it really adds some external validation there. Okay, this is legit, this was serious. He was a man with lots of problems, just trying to figure out his life, and he didn't really have his together like we see today.
I really am just thinking into 2019 on what I want to do, and I want to do something like influential. I've been doing this thing that I don't enjoy for so long, and like the things that I do.
And you don't need that massive, like, impactful cinematic music, just having that quiet undertone, because what he is saying is enough. This is the first time that we really actually see him speak. And he is in a much more vulnerable moment. You already have that seriousness and sincerity there. You don't need to put that action, tense music behind it. That's why it's so beautiful.
But here's the difference between Eric and most people.
Here we go, another scene change.
Beings put in that situation will give up. He dropped everything.
Oh, whoa, that's a How Ridiculous video. Oh my god, I think. How Ridiculous, a bunch of Australian YouTubers. Hell yeah, got some Australian representation in there.
Now, these videos weren't even getting enough views to make $1, but he literally did not care. And if you were to question him on it, he would probably say,
I will either succeed or die trying.
He's managed to flip it where, you know, what he's achieving is kind of here because he's got his wedding business, etc. And this is really how he's feeling. And now he's starting to push up, he's starting to rise, and is dragging this tide with him, bringing this wave into shore, and is about to crash and make the impact that he has.
I snuck in to Dan Bilzerian's party. And I mean, this video, out of nowhere, it just took off like a rocket ship.
The reason for this spontaneous success was because he had just accidentally...
Adding the nostalgia factor right here by referencing back to old videos he's created. So if you've been on that journey with him this whole time, automatically like, oh, I remember that. That's where everything started again. That's where I found him. That was like the start of his journey. I've been with him this whole time. So it's really reinforcing that community. So it may not have got as many views as it usually does, but because it's been targeted much more towards the dedicated audience member that's been there from day one, not the person who's just having the average scroll on YouTube. So I think this is really powerful here to really, you know, hone in on that true community member, because I remember that's when I found out about him when he was doing this couch series. So, you know, it's good to look back at like, damn, you know, you've kind of been following his journey this whole time, maybe even without even realizing.
And all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, this guy's a f***ing YouTuber.
Did it. 100,000 subscribers. That is insane.
And I remember one day I'm sitting in a lecture hall and he calls me up. I walk outside, pick up the phone, and he says, do you want to come build this?
The call to action, the journey. You know, Bilbo going on his adventure from Gandalf saying, you want to come? Same sort of premise.
Me saying yes to this would basically be me. Someone with no money would be moving in with someone with crippling debt and sleeping on their couch. So
establishing the problem here, right? We have the desire, we have the ambition, he's on a roll, but what is still that fundamental problem that is getting in their way? And what do we now want to see? If we want to see them overcome it, we want to see them to achieve the goals despite these problems in their way. You know, being the massive debt that he acquired from doing the couch videos, and also, you know, living in a small apartment, just trying to make their dreams come true. It's really sort of an aspirational ambition that we can all sort of relate to in our own ways. We all want to strive for something. We all want to achieve our deepest desires and dreams. And we're now seeing that and living it serendipitously through this video.
So obviously we set, you know, a subscriber goal.
1 million subscribers before the end of the year. 1 million subscribers by the end of the year.
And now we're seeing their really massive, ambitious goals. Like, you'll never slay the dragon, you'll never become the hero that the city needs, but they have that deep desire and ambition and need, the burning need to do it anyway. So at this point, you know, we've established the problem, initial problem of him being stuck in a slump with deep depression, etc. But this energy to just go out there and do crazy things from his mother. And then, okay, he started getting things together, but he's in severe debts, you know, it's kind of that struggling entrepreneur mentality, but he's brought a friend along, so he'll be okay. But now they've got this massive, impossible dream that they've got to achieve, and they've managed to convey all of this within the first 5 minutes. Yet there's a lot of videos on YouTube that do a lot less in the first 5 minutes, and you're like, come on, just get to it, where this is just so beautiful. Lots going on, but it doesn't feel overwhelming.
We're gonna post once a week, no matter what. And that's what we did.
Sometimes we got to the point where we were at 800,000 subscribers, and we had 12 days left.
Or the final boss challenge.
Math says that we're gonna fail.
They're so close to the goal, the world is against them, no one thinks that it's possible, despite having this burning need and burning desire. Will they achieve it or will they not? And put it all out on the line.
It was either we were going to succeed or die trying. There were storms, it was cold, and we were miserable.
But it didn't matter. We had put too much in, worked too hard to get this close to getting 1 million subscribers in 1 year.
Today is December 24th. We currently have 929,000 subscribers.
So cutting from the action-packed, high-intensity music straight to that like authentic, sort of terribly filmed vlog in a way, is part of that authenticity, that sincerity of like, okay, now this is like the genuine moment of how he feels, how he's thinking at that point in time, what's going on in his mind. It's not overproduced, it's just raw. It's genuinely him and the deliberations and emotions that he's going through right at this point in time as he's trying to achieve the most ambitious, impossible goal that he could possibly think of.
But there's always this doubt of like, is this actually going to work? Tomorrow is Christmas. Obviously my mom and my sister are not happy with me for being out.
His sacrifice, missing Christmas with his family who flew all the way out to LA to spend it with him. It shows you how much this actually means to him and makes you care because you empathize with how much he cares.
It's bumming it right now, dude. We've been on this island for 4 days, but we have gained 200,000 subscribers. That's funny.
How many subscribers are we at?
We're at 957,000 subscribers.
The last play that we came up with was to scramble footage together throughout the year and put out one last video. And I remember, with literally less,
coming down to the wire.
24 hours.
Is this moment gonna happen?
Dude, we're all just waiting in suspense. This is like a stadium of our favorite people on planet Earth, all in one place
This
together.
is like the final
watching
moments at the end of the battle. Honestly now, right? I'm actually getting goosebumps watching this.
We hit 1 million subscribers.
Seeing that release of energy from them.
Please.
An honest release of energy.
The
The emotions that have built up.
We can go.
We're about to leave.
Their childhood dreams finally been achieved.
Holy shit, dude. I think this might be like the first time in my life I've ever like dreamed of.
See, this is an important bit right here, which I think it's that sort of that post-match recap that everything has just gone down. You've come off the battlefield, you're back safely in your barracks and just trying to recapture what has happened in, you know, that past, the battle of the year, going through that week by week through, you know, months and months of misery, just trying to produce the best content you possibly could despite the world against you.
Like feel alive again, you know? It's been so stressed for so long trying to do that. Love you, dude.
that's such a moment of sincerity. Like, I remember hearing a couple of days ago someone talking about the difference between authenticity and sincerity, and I thought that was really valuable. How authenticity, you can still be just selling yourself by you're just putting yourself out there, but that's different to sincerity. Sincerity is you actually mean what you say, and it's actually coming from the heart, and that's exactly what he's showing here. He's not just being like, hey, I like pizza, that's being authentic. But the way that he's presenting himself here is sincere because he's not playing up for the camera, it's just the pure reflections on his life coming up to this moment, and it's just really, really beautiful. Having that sort of like slow, inspirational, reminiscing music behind it just really helps convey and play the strings of the heart.
On to the next year, baby.
Yep, and you know, don't delay too long, just get straight into the next thing.
Crazy. It was just upload after upload after upload. Deadly consistency.
This hype-up montage just kind of shows that they continue going as they achieve their goal, but really that wasn't going to be the end for them. They were going to strive even higher than they ever thought they could.
Colossal waste of time.
And then the next goal, you know, they thought the million was impossible, and here they are at 5.
The blink of an eye, all of a sudden we're surrounded by this loving people, now larger than ever.
Now a callback to the community right there, as I was saying, by having the nostalgic videos popping up to really reinforcing that the community matters, because that is what drives the long-term sustainable growth, right? People can get quick views just by talking about trending topics, and especially for him, you know, engaging in the social hacking where you take contemporary topics and trends and building videos off that. He has to really cultivate that community who will stick with them even after these trends die off, and that's what, you know, they're emphasizing here and what they've so successfully been able to achieve.
About to see that dream blossom into fruition.
Oh, now it's referencing back, like some good stories reference back to something that was said in the beginning. It makes sure that everything that was brought up was purposeful, and now it's the loop. I think it's the Harmon circle, where you come back to the same point but a changed person, right? It's pretty much the definition of every coming of age story. And this is exactly what they've done here. We're brought back to the opening scene, but having already gone through a massive journey and gone through a transformation, because that's the key to videos, is what transformation is the viewer going on? Are they being inspired? Are they being educated? You know, what is the goal of this video? What is it trying to achieve? And this one is obviously more on that inspiration route. Coming back to this point, you know, it feels like this whole journey has mattered, and you realize the impact of this moment. At the start, it was like, oh, 10 million nice, and now you're like, wow, okay, 10 million, wow. Nostalgic footage. The ticking time clock, as you know, because it's gone through the past couple of years, you're hearing each moment, it slows down as it's coming right to the end. So the flashbacks, it's about to hit it. This whole journey that you have just witnessed has finally paid off. The nostalgic flashbacks, as it, you know, he realizes that all his hard work has actually meant something. Cutting straight back to his younger self, that his childhood dreams have come true. It may not have been as easy as he wanted, but they finally succeeded, and his childhood self would be happy of who he is today. This is such a beautiful scene there of him and his friends who helped him on this journey, right next to that item that symbolizes the success he's achieved.
God, dude. God. I just want to say thank you to you guys. It's just so crazy, man.
Another moment that we don't usually see Eric in, the true sort of broken down what this actually means to him, and the sort of sunset in the back, the blue hour that he's filming in, also adds that level of intimacy. Because if he was filming in bright day and you can see everything and it was like a low aperture so the background's all in focus, like it doesn't feel like it's as intimate and private. You know, we generally don't see our favorite creators cry on camera, especially not for good things, right? So it's another moment that's like, oh, this is not what we usually see, so you're kind of like, okay, it makes you pay a bit more attention.
Oh my god, that is crazy, dude. How do we do that? In 2.5 years, we literally did that together. It's crazy, you know? To celebrate us hitting 10 million subscribers together. Because I did not do this. We did
Now
this,
calling back
as
to the
promised,
community.
to celebrate. We are making the world's largest pizza! Look at this! Now these are obviously...
So once again, it's like, no matter what happens, no matter what dreams are achieved, he's always like, okay, now on to the next. How can we go bigger? How can we strive for more? How can we achieve higher? You know, it's not just like, yeah, I'm content, I'm happy, but good, what's the next thing? And sort of this continuous sort of, you know, exploration of what is possible. And once again, referencing back to the community of how can we throw the biggest pizza party for the people who are dedicated and committed to this channel. You know, it's really cool to see that he does spend so much time caring about how can I get the community involved, how can I make them feel like they matter and that they're not just a digit on a screen, but they're actually a part of something greater. And that's why, you know, Airrack has been able to do so well. And another reason why this video is so impactful, because he's been able to achieve these things. He's been able to show moments that you haven't seen typically in his content. He's been able to have these flashbacks and showing the journey. You know, you've seen the front end, but what is the behind the scenes? What is the struggle that had to be gone through to achieve that beautiful final result of a video that you saw every week? You know, it's these glimpses into his family and his friends that helped him along this journey, that it wasn't just himself, it was his gang of friends, and that they went on this impossible journey together, having that impossible goal, achieving that impossible goal, having more problems come in the way. Can they achieve that? Then they achieve that. And they strive higher and achieve more than they could have ever expected in the beginning. And that's what this video has been able to achieve, and hence why I think it is the best video that he's ever created, because it showed a completely different side of him that we're not used to seeing, and a completely different side of editing and filmmaking that we're not used to seeing from his channel and really much of YouTube at the moment. So it's cool to see. And if you want to see more videos that are so impactful, that really dip into that sincerity and leave it all out on the table, I've got a video discussing that right here.